back to the Verot Show, where we bring you inside the heart of Bishop Verot Catholic High School and the people and the passion and the purpose that make this community oh so special. And today's episode is all about competition, character, and also the continued rise of Bishop Verot Athletics. From the fields to the courts in the classroom, there's really a standard that's being set, and it doesn't happen by accident. Joining us today is a leader who's right at the center of it all, and that is Mr. Greg Coleman, Athletic Director. We're going to talk a little bit about his journey here to Bishop Verot, and also how it's been for him here as his career is starting to define him a little bit more. And also, we want to celebrate some of the athletes for this year and talk a little bit about successes in our athletic program. So, Greg, welcome to the Verot Show.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here. It's always a good day when we can advocate and talk about athletics. It
really is. And, you know, in case someone out there doesn't know Mr. Greg Coleman, which I think most people do, you were a 1998 graduate of Bishop Verot.
Proud 1998 graduate of this great school. Was here all 4 years. I went from public school into here, so it was a little bit of a culture shock at first. But I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for this place.
Well, let's talk about that. Did you always know that your end game would be as an athletic director? Because you and I actually met as you a basketball coach. You were the head basketball coach at Lehigh High School. Very successful program, and then later on, progressed into the AD role there as well before moving on. But was this your end game?
Yeah, I think being the athletic director here was something that I always wanted to do after I was done coaching. I didn't know I was going to be done coaching so fast when this job opened up, but very grateful that it opened up and the timing was right because my kids we're at school here. My daughter went to school here, and my son's now a freshman here. So the timing was perfect for that change. And so it's a little bit different than coaching, but yeah, it's a lot. We have a lot of fun.
Well, we talked a lot about prior to the podcast. We talked about your initial step into Bishop Verot versus being a student here. What was your initial impressions of the school and the athletic culture?
How much everything has changed. When I went to school here, it was probably 500 to 600 kids. Now we're just shy of 900.
Yes.
The athletic facilities, the Nevins gym, I was the first class to have that gym for 4 years. So I remember the old Santini. That was an old stage / gym. I obviously remember, the people that basically taught me the things that I know now. Some of them are no longer with us, but their memory lives on here. And that's one thing that's great about this place. It's such a tight-knit, close family community that we honor and remember those that from the past, and we look forward to those that are teaching the new generation to the future.
I have heard about the old gym in Santini, and it could be dangerous to your health. Wasn't there a drop off?
Yes, there was a probably 5-foot drop off from the stage to the floor. But I mean, it was a cool little spot. It was unique. It reminded me of an up north type gym where the locker rooms were underneath. The coaches' offices were underneath. The training room was underneath, and then you'd go upstairs and go right onto the floor. So I mean, it was a cool spot, but obviously the theater is much nicer than what that was.
Absolutely, we have progressed,
yes,
right?
100%, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at is that how much this place has evolved.
Yes,
with the times, because athletics now is not what athletics were like when I played.
Well, before we get into that a little bit, let's talk about your role here as the athletic director. When did you start here at Bishop Verot?
This is my 4th year, so I'm going to be going into my 5th. Obviously, I coached here years and years and years ago during my college years, and that's kind of what got me into coaching was coaching basketball here. And then a lot of people don't know this, but I was also an assistant softball coach for a couple
I did not
years.
know that.
Yeah, had a successful run, went to a state championship, and that's kind of what really changed my direction as far as what I wanted to do with my life. So I wanted to become a teacher, be a coach, and then eventually when I was done with coaching, get into athletic administration. And so, yeah, that's...
You just wanted to live the dream, and now you've got the burden of everything athletics here.
Oh, yeah.
In Viking land.
I don't know if you call it a burden or a blessing or maybe a little bit of both. 31 varsity sports teams here.
Wow, it's incredible.
And I've got athletic directors, my peers, that are like, how do you handle 31 varsity sports? And then not only that, but it's not like we're a school of 2,000 kids.
Yes.
And they're blown away when I tell them that our athletic participation is about 75%.
It's incredible. I don't think a lot of people know that, actually, Greg.
Yeah, there's, if you go to school here, you are involved in something. Whether it's athletics, arts, clubs, Live Jesus, all of that type of stuff, which that's why people come back. They want to come back and experience this even more. Some of my best times were my high school years. And now that I'm an adult and have a career, some of my best times are still here. So I think that's why so many people come back, is because they make it the full high school experience, not just, go to class, go home. Next day, go to class, go home. It's the experience. And that's what I like to tell parents that are coming in. We had our meeting last night, and that was one of the messages, is like, you only get 4 years. Do everything you can to make your experience the best.
Well, you're leading into a question I did have for you as well about balancing competitiveness, character, and also that faith-based feeling. I know that you're not coaching. Obviously, you're overseeing all of athletics, of course. But how do you help your coaches balance those three things?
It's not necessarily a difficult task, because we are all growing. Nonstop, we're always learning, we're always growing, not just with our character, not how we lead our sports teams, not how we lead the school, but also always growing in our faith. We can always learn more. And I'm one of those ones that, I'm always willing to put in the time and educate myself and to grow, not just as a leader, but, in my faith as well. And I think that's what's unique is, we get high school kids that are in the same boat, and us as adults are doing the same thing, to where we are all growing and learning together.
Absolutely. I agree. And, I say this tongue in cheek because I have great respect for educators and everyone that really makes this school, what it is. But athletic directors, it's really a thankless position at times. You're here all the time, but if you had to wrap it all up in one package, what is the overview of your responsibilities as the AD?
Well, I don't think I have ever stopped coaching, because part of my job is mentoring coaches, advising coaches, and not by micromanaging coaches, because we do have really good coaches here. And they may not always do things the way I did things as a coach, and that's fine, because we can always learn from each other. But the biggest part of the job is to make events run smoothly. Get our teams and our school and our athletes exposure, as far as the new world that is social media. And take care of officials, take care of the opposing teams. Obviously schedule everything with the officials, the umpires,
which is crazy, by the way.
It is, when you have 31 varsity sports, you got to be organized. Sometimes we miss things, sometimes we don't, but we like to think that we do a pretty good job. And a lot of this is not possible without our athletic staff. Like, we have a really good athletic staff, assistant athletic director, Coach Shank, and Pete Leishus, our athletic trainer. It takes a village to run something as big as this, and to be as successful as we are.
What is your overall vision? You've been here and you're starting your 5th year, but really, what's your vision for Verot Athletics as we continue to move forward?
A lot of people look at the wins and losses, and that's not necessarily what high school athletics are supposed to be about. It's an extension of the classroom. We want to be more transitional than we are transactional. And that's one of the things that we're growing with, and we're going to talk about this summer with the coaches, and it's more about the mentoring our athletes into being, going to the next level, not necessarily athletically because such a small percentage, even though our percentage is a little higher than most because we do have a lot of kids that go and play at the next level. But, once they're done with athletics, what does that look like for them? And that's what that's what our ultimate goal is to mentor our athletes into being, responsible, God-loving adults.
And, I want to touch on something real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because I have more questions for Mr. Coleman here. But you came from an environment where Nick Saban landed on your football field. Yeah. And, what you just said is that not every kid is going to be able to experience that or to be able to, be recruited by Nick Saban. And then he was the head coach at Alabama. But, you're talking about the bigger things in life. Not everybody is going to further their their athletic career at the next level. Right. But, that's something that I guess as an AD, how do you go from that and really keep yourself grounded would be the question.
If we're blessed enough to have athletes that have the who's who of college athletics coming to our campus, that's just something that, it's not necessarily anything that I do. It's the work that those athletes have put in to get to that point. But our ultimate job is eventually athletics for everyone is going to end at some point. And then that's kind of the goal. What type of person are you going to be once the cameras are off of you? I'm talking about for like the big time athletic recruits. What kind of person are you going to be once that's over?
Yes. Well, let's talk a little bit and celebrate this year's athletes because we have a lot to be happy about here at Bishop Verot. Talk to me a little bit about some of the key team successes that we've had this year.
Well, one of the things that we pride ourselves on are the schedules that our coaches and the athletic department build. We understand that the greatest lessons are learned through adversity. And when you go out and you play the best of the best and try to play the best of the best, you're going to learn a lot more. And you may not win, but sometimes you learn a lot more from a loss than you ever do a win. Winning covers up a lot of deficiencies. So, that's probably one of the proudest things I have is who we go out and play, who we try to play, and we want to be at that state level, maybe even a national level one day as far as who we compete against. But we're definitely proud of our 15 district championships this year.
Yes,
we had 3 regional championships, most recently boys track in dramatic fashion last week. Won the regional track meet on the last race of the night.
The Cardiac Kids.
Which is the 4x4 relay. Our girls weightlifting team won 2 regional championships this year, one in the Olympic and one in the traditional. And then we have our final signing day coming up, which is 8 more senior athletes signing to play at the next level, which I believe the grand total is 24 for the year.
That's amazing. I'm new here, right. 2 years in. I'm getting ready to head into my 3rd year. We do signing days like a lot.
Yes.
And that's something that's really cool because, some kids are still deciding, but exactly 24?
24.
That is amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And, some people, they see like the big signings, but these signings that were, these are kids that are going not only for athletics, but academics. A lot of these kids are getting academic money because of how great of students they are here. And that's the message that I like to give to all the incoming freshmen. And including my son is like, if you are really good in the classroom, it is much easier to go on to the next level to play college sports.
Yes, it is. You heard it here. That's for sure. And I think a lot of kids need to be reminded of that, especially earlier on, right. Freshmen and on. What about any improvements here at the school? I mean, obviously I know them, but what things have we worked on to improve our athletic facilities this year? Some people may not have been on campus for a while, so talk to me about some cool things that have happened.
Well, the baseball field, for starters, is the upkeep of our head baseball coach and his staff. If you have not seen it, it is one of the best playing surfaces in the state of Florida.
Without a doubt.
And that's counting the Major League Baseball stadiums.
Hands down.
Obviously, we have some construction going on currently. We have got brand new turf coming in on the stadium for football, lacrosse, soccer, and girls flag football. Obviously, a lot of the other sports use it for their conditioning and stuff like that. And then, eventually, hopefully, we can get some of our sports on campus and have everything here. I mean, how cool would it be to have, a beach volleyball, softball, lacrosse, baseball going on at the same time? I mean, this would be the place to be. So.
Absolutely. And I think that's the ultimate goal. The end game for all of us is we want to make sure that anything that a student can do, whether it's just a student or student athlete, we want to make sure that they are on our campus. That's always going to be a goal for us, as we continue to move forward. And that's really important. I think, and not only does it get buy-in from the students and the parents, but it also brings other teams on our campus.
Right.
We really want to show people how hard we worked and that we're really proud of what we do. And we've had some great successes. And it's been awesome to be around this environment. I mean, I'm telling you, if you've never experienced Bishop Verot, you're missing out. You're really missing out. So looking ahead a little bit into next year, and I know we've got spring football coming up. May 22nd?
May 22nd, we host South Fort Myers, which is great that it's a local team. Coming to Viking Stadium on the brand new turf. Obviously, the night before, we have our big celebration, which is Tailgate on the turf. So, obviously, if you're looking to attend that, reach out and we'll point you in the right direction. It's a lot of fun because it brings a lot of people together from all over the school, not just football, not just cheer. But all of our athletics are involved in some way or fashion, and it's great. It's really a good time for to meet new people, to intertwine the athletic program, and for our incoming freshmen. I said this last night to the parents, it's a good time for you guys to meet families that have been here, meet the coaches, ask questions. So looking forward to spring football, and that's kind of like the culmination of the school year's sports seasons. So
great.
The day after is a big celebration because I've got no night events for the entire summer. So
that's going to be a highlight for you.
Yeah.
We actually have new lights also in the stadium. I don't know if anybody knows about Lightgate, but we had a terrible issue with the transformer. I won't get into specifics with that, but we had an unbelievable donor that just stepped forward and has been nothing but a pure blessing to the school with what he's been able to do as an owner. Of a company that they specifically work in that area with lighting.
Well, it's another proud graduate. So I mean, he was a little bit after
class
me,
of 2005, I believe.
Yeah, he was a little bit after me. I was actually here coaching when he was here. Yeah. But yeah, we're very grateful, and you go out there. It's when you get used to the old lighting system, and then you went out there, it's like, oh, holy cow! I need to put some sunglasses on because this is so bright. So it was great.
Yeah, it really is. It's great to see people come together, and such excitement just over lighting was pretty fun. And I just want to speak quickly, to the resiliency of this organization, this team here at Bishop Verot, because I mentioned Lightgate, where we had a football game going on. Right. It was homecoming. We have all of these things at halftime with no lighting. And we had cars lined up around the stadium with their headlights on, and people were making it happen for these students. And that's the most important thing. It's not about any one individual person. It is always going to be about the Bishop Verot student. And whether you're playing a sport or not, that's how much people care about you.
Well, you're talking about that night. That's something that the homecoming court and everyone involved is never going to forget. If it was just normal, hey, let's march down the 50 with our escort, but now it was it set the mood with all those Jeeps lined up with their headlights on. So
It really did.
Everything. So
it was a
cool.
really cool. I mean, clearly, we wish we could have continued the game, but it was such a cool thing to be involved with. As much as it was frustrating, I know you were down there sweating bullets.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't a part of the whole Jeep thing because I was too busy, directing FP&L, trying to get everything lined up and trying to get those lights back on. But it was actually a very cool experience for everyone. They had their phones out, and you saw all the flashlights on in the bleachers, and it was actually it was what could have been an ultimate negative turned into probably the ultimate positive because they'll never forget that.
I agree. Well, what are some off-season priorities that you have for the athletic program? I know you joked about getting a break, which is much deserved with you and your staff. You guys are here around the clock, it feels like. But what are those off-season priorities that you're looking at as we lean into next year?
Right. Well, when I say break, I say nighttime breaks because there's not a whole lot over the summer at night, obviously. But it never stops. We are planning all summer for the next year. The big thing is going to be the new mandate coming down from the state with the EKGs for incoming freshmen.
That's a big deal.
I touched on it last night at the parent meeting. So all incoming freshmen or transfer students from out of state or someone that has never played athletics before is required to have an EKG. That EKG is good for all 4 years that you're there in high school. And so we're just trying to streamline that process.
Yeah, and it's really a preventative measure,
right?
And it shouldn't be looked at as a hassle. I mean, we clearly want to make sure that
of course.
we are creating a very safe environment for everyone involved in athletics.
Right, and so we're working with our team physician, which is Dr. Laporte, on how to streamline it, making it the easiest way to get many students all at once. So. Those are the types of things that we plan that happens behind the scenes, to accommodate our families. We do coaches retreats over the summer to where we talk about, how to integrate faith within our athletic program, how to expand our leadership roles, obviously how to win ball games.
That's important, right?
Yeah. So, obviously you want to win, but that's not the end game.
Right. Well, we only have a few more minutes before we wrap up. I got a couple of things I want to shoot at you. We'll just call this rapid fire. So what's been your favorite moment of this year?
Oh, wow. Probably the signings. Every time we have a signing day, that's honestly what it's kind of about for me in athletics. So it's hard to pinpoint one specific moment because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Obviously when our teams win championships, stuff like that. But there's a lot of things that I got excited about this year. One of the things I was really excited to see was when they finally laid that logo down.
Oh yeah,
on the new turf,
huge.
Because it's the biggest one they've ever done.
It's awesome.
It's always been my motto: go big or go home. So,
what have you been most surprised at in athletics this year?
Probably some of our teams that weren't necessarily at where they felt they needed to be, and then they exceeded expectations. That was one of my biggest surprises. Some of the things that we do here, from a leadership role, some of the coaches that have stepped up in certain leadership roles was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And just seeing some of the coaches and the athletes themselves grow together, those are always good surprises.
Yeah, that's amazing. You love to see growth
right.
at every level. What about the most improved team?
I'd like to say a lot of our teams improved over the course of a season. But I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I was so impressed by our girls lacrosse program this year. The way they battled through adversity, though, they were so close to making regionals. They were close in the district championship game, but seeing what Coach Lockard's done with that program over the course of 3 years, that was probably most impressive to watch them go. And then obviously our softball team won their 18th district championship.
Excellent.
They're in regionals this week. And then our girls flag football team, it's only
yes.
their second year. They made it to the regional semifinals. They had to go down to Miami last night. Unfortunately, they did not win, but it was a great learning experience for them to go down there to Traz Powell, which is Miami Northwestern's home field.
That is we were talking about that earlier this week. That girls flag team at Miami Northwestern, holy cow! Yeah, they are impressive.
They were impressive watching their highlights, and our girls went down there and competed with them.
It's great
and played hard, and Coach Villegas has done a great job with the girls flag football program. So that was a pleasant surprise as well, seeing them make a run at regionals. And you know, they lost 20-0, but the game was a lot closer than what the score was. They were only a play or two away from it being very, very close. So
and what a fun sport to watch, and I think it's going to just continue to grow. Not only here at Verot, but I think statewide and across the country. I think we're going to see a lot from that.
Yeah, I keep seeing articles of different states sanctioning flag football, so you're seeing a big push with that, and we're actually doing our first girls-only flag football camp this summer.
That's excellent.
So if you have any youngins that want to get involved with flag football, they are doing a camp, as well as all the other camps. You know, you go to our athletic website on our school page, and you can get a list of all the camps.
That's great. So as we wrap up, it's really been a pleasure to sit down with you. Congratulations on just another banner year here at the school in your leadership role as AD. What are your final thoughts for everyone out there that might be thinking about Bishop Verot or might have looked at us a little differently? Hopefully this will shed some light in who we are and what we do.
The biggest thing is if you're looking, and I'm going to be obviously biased, but there's no better place around. It's just, there's a lot of good schools out there and some that fit better with others, but a place like this where it's just not about the athlete. It's not just about the student. It's about everyone. It's about the development of our students as a whole, not just as academics, but you cannot beat a faith-based school on the way things operate.
Well, we would like to encourage all of our listeners to stay engaged. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Verot Show, something that we're doing just to highlight our school and give you a little bit of insight as to how great this place is and really where we're trying to take it collectively as a team. And we also encourage you to continue to support Verot Athletics. And if you're looking for a place to be this summer, and this is the place. You can look on our athletic website and all the details of camps will be there. But the biggest thing, if you're here and you're not sure about things, stay engaged. It's so important to meet people and to know what's happening. You're going to feel a lot better about your investment here at Verot. And we hope everyone has a great week.